No, you are perfect as you are.
Thank you.
This is an extension of Gather. Just show up as you are.
Perfect.
You don't need to be. I'm wearing the most normal gray. I'm not, although anything next to Melissa is always a little bit
But again, I feel horrible. So I'm like, this is going to make me feel lighter.
Her colors match her skin tone really well. So let's get started.
Today we are joined by Candice Moore, the founder and creative behind DeCourtcey events and the Styled Stem. Based in Philadelphia region, Candice has built a reputation for thoughtful, design-forward events that feel intentional rather than performative. Through DeCourtcey events, she leads full-service planning with a strong operational backbone and visual storytelling in a way that's both artistic and restrained. While the Styled Stem allows her team to focus on supporting wedding management and day of coordination clients. What makes Candice especially compelling right now is not just what she's built, but how she's recalibrating it. Over the past year, she's been re-examining growth, listening to her business instead of forcing it, and asking harder questions about sustainability, structure, and what success actually means in this industry. As the chapter president of Black Women in Weddings, Philadelphia, she's also thinking beyond revenue toward leadership, impact, and long-term change. Candice, welcome to Talk of the Aisle. We're so excited that you're here and to connect with you.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here, and just thank you for having me. I'm excited for the conversation.
You were easy to. We were like, who do we want on our podcast? You were like right up there.
That warmed my heart.
Yeah, I'm trying to think how long we've known each other. I feel like after a certain point, everything just kind of blends in together.
It's like I feel like we've known you, like we worked with you forever. But I think our first wedding together was what, maybe 2 years ago, maybe 3.
I think so. Michael and I did a wedding, or I worked with the company prior to meeting you guys together. So that was a COVID postponed wedding where we worked with a couple people from your team at the Franklin Institute.
Okay.
And 2 years ago, we worked together on
Free
the
library.
Exactly.
That one was gorgeous. And gorgeous day, too. It was like, Candice, come over here. I'm going to take photos of you on this course.
Best photos I've ever had taken of me in action. I was so grateful.
I love doing that, too. Like, obviously, we're there for the wedding, like for the couple. But it's like so nice when you get to work with people that you really just genuinely enjoy working with, because it's like when do you get that opportunity to have photos taken of you actually working an event, like doing your thing. So I always find those opportunities.
Yeah, or like, do we bring a content creator? And now you have the couples that are saying, we really rather you not. So And I'm of the mindset of, this is your day. Like, yes, I need content. Yes, I need behind the scenes. But if you're not comfortable with it, I have to respect that.
Yeah.
Well, vendors that don't even ask, and they just show up with someone, and I'm like,
yeah, that's pretty hairy.
That is really hairy.
I also I think maybe it's because I'm old school, but I also enjoy not having to worry about it at all and just doing what I'm there for and enjoying the experience. So it's just unfortunate layer that has kind of been added on where it just adds to complexity. And I think some vendors feel pressured, I think, to do it because they need the content for social media. But girl, that's a different conversation.
That's not what we're going to talk about.
I did not want to go down that road.
Michael, don't you know I'm known for going down rabbit holes?
Yeah, God, we're not getting through all these questions.
We might get through 2.
So just to kind of start off, and a lot of these questions are derived from previous conversations we've had. But you said earlier this year or last year, forced you to listen to your business instead of forcing growth. What was happening that made you realize that you needed to shift?
So I think a lot of us in the industry felt this. I think close rates shifted, booking windows expanded, and clients were taking longer to book across the board, longer to decide, what do we actually need? Who do we want to work with? We were getting a good amount of leads, like visibility was up, but stability didn't automatically follow that. So I really felt the urge to push harder and keep pushing instead of pausing. And ultimately, I just realized I was trying to outwork what was actually a strategy shift that needed to happen.
Got it. Okay. And when you think about, like, from my perspective, because I don't know, like, forcing growth, what does that actually look like in behavior? Like more launches, trying to do higher volume?
Yeah, exactly. Starting right there, launching more just to feel momentum and saying yes to misaligned budgets. We're all guilty of that.
Yes, we are.
Hiring ahead of demand, and just bigger visibility pushes like advertising and boosted posts and Facebook and Instagram ads without actual back end stability. So it feels more frantic and not necessarily strategic, I would say.
Yeah.
And then, like, was pulling back from that and kind of redirecting your energy, did that feel like you were failing in some aspects because you weren't kind of playing that typical game that a lot of others were playing? Or
I would say at times I questioned if I was making the right decisions. I'm very introspective. I never try to avoid negative self-talk. So I don't like to say I'm failing, right?
Yeah.
And like I'm pivoting as well.
I love that.
So I started to feel fearful. And that's when I realized, okay, you need to stop being reactive, stop having this urgent sense of everything is on fire, and operate from a place of wisdom. That feels steady. Even when you're uncomfortable and you don't know what's about to happen, slowing down was the best thing for me to do because it didn't feel chaotic in a time where my personal life was extremely chaotic. And we don't have to go to any of that, but that's how I knew, okay, I'm good at what I do and I need to just focus on that and not be afraid and just pivot and focus on slowing down and not trying to keep up with so-and-so on Instagram and this person, so definitely not failure. I think as founders, we can equate movement with progress, but for me, I had to actually redefine what is progress. And that's kind of why I approached it.
Yeah. And I think that can look different for everyone. But I love what you said. Like when you noticed that you were moving from a place of fear and slowing down enough to move from a place of wisdom. Like that is gorgeous. And that's one of the things that I feel like we struggle with doing is slowing down. Because when you can slow down, things become more clear. But it's like we live in a society that's designed for us to go faster, do more, produce more, keep doing. And it's like we don't ever have time to just chill the fuck out and like listen, right? Like it makes so much more sense when you slow down and just take a breath.
Yeah. And I think about our couples, like I think a turning point for me was I felt like my clients weren't getting the whole me at a certain point because I was in so many places. And especially from a planner perspective, when we overextend, clients feel it. Like they 100% feel it. Communication slips, energy shifts on a wedding day or even in conversations, like the experience tightens. It's just not, I never want a client to feel like they don't have the best version of me in front of them at all times, and pride myself on that. So when I started to feel like, oh, how many times did I say I don't do calls after 5 p.m. today? Like I can't say that anymore. And I have to be like really present with every client, which is how I started and how I want to continue and will always be. Yes.
And that does actually bring up another point for me. It's something that we've always been intentional about is setting certain boundaries with our couples, especially as our kids were growing up, and kind of really honoring the family time and all of that. But obviously the advantage that we have is that there is two of us, so one could always jump on a quick call or do some emails if needed. But how are you navigating that? Because I know you're a mother. So in terms of having that balance of being there for your clients and then also making sure that you're not
being mama.
Yeah.
And how old is your child?
My daughter is going to be 4 in exactly 1 month, and I'm freaking out about it.
Wait, she's an Aries?
She is an Aries child through and through.
I see her.
Good luck to you. Just kidding.
Yes,
I
thank
don't even know what that means. All I know is Melissa's an Aries. And that's a lot.
Great. She just keeps me on my toes. Like that's really what it comes down to. And I love the question. And I'll raise you being a single mom, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
one of the big challenges I've been facing since last year. And the boundary part for me was hard because I was the planner that would say, oh yeah, no problem. We can meet at 7:30 and
Yeah.
we can meet on a Saturday morning if I don't have a wedding or an event. And I think when I started setting the boundary at first, I was uncomfortable. And I said, these are my office hours.
Yeah.
This is when I can meet you. Just like you would make the exception for a doctor's appointment or to go look at a house if you're buying a house. You make the exception and you use your lunch break to speak to your partner if this is important to you. And I do open outside of like office hours for select clients. Like if I have a client that absolutely they're a doctor in a operating room, I can't say, well, we're never going to speak.
Yeah. Right.
So I explained to them, I limit my after hours availability. So when you get the scheduling link, I encourage you to book as soon as possible because those spots fill fastest.
Yeah.
And I open one weekend because my schedule with her dad shifts. So I have the flexibility to sometimes do outside of business hours. But for my own self-care, like you're not getting the best version of me at 6 o'clock at night. And I tell clients, if you book 5:30, by 6:15, my energy starts to shift. So they joke about it and they know and they're gracious and, they're understanding. But that was a hard shift for me too, was the boundary setting.
Yeah. I do hope that we are entering, and I think we are, I feel that we are, a more gracious, giving, compassionate world, especially when it comes to women and women mothers, especially single mothers, right? As brides being women. I do hope that we can all just have compassion for each other, and give each other grace and understand that we all have a lot of things on our plate all the time. And we do have to take care of ourselves so that we can give the best of ourselves to our clients. But I love that you have that boundary and that people seem to be respecting it.
Yeah. And I think, and I know we're probably going to shift gears and talk a little bit more about a hot topic today, but I think that also comes with the pivot that I started to make last year. Like moving forward within the company, I'm moving away from day of and our coordination clients and focusing more on DeCourtcey and full service and bigger projects because I have to protect my energy and my time. So.
Yep, I feel that, protecting that energy, because weddings do give us the next day after a wedding, I usually feel like I got hit by a Mack truck.
100%.
Because I show up 100 and I am so there. Like they get my full presence. I'm also reading the energy throughout the day, and I'm giving where I can. It's just true presence, right?
Exactly.
So and you got to protect that.
You have to, from the coordination standpoint, we're working with our couples 9 months out. So I'm giving them that for 9 months. And then the day of it's 12 hours, but I start before that because I'm calling their hair and makeup team. And it's just I'm on. So the day after it's and I take ibuprofen the night before I go to sleep. And I'm just
say a little prayer that you wake up fully in body.
So I think we can all relate to that.
Yeah. So then to continue on and in thinking kind of the two brands now that you operate in, why did DeCourtcey Events and the Styled STEM need to separate? What doesn't one brand hold that the other can?
So the Styled STEM, and when we were talking about my bio and what I do, the Styled STEM started initially as a floral design and planning company, hence the name. And I loved flowers. I loved everything about it. I didn't think I was going to become a full-time florist. I figured that would just be an arm of the business that someone else would eventually lead, and I would teach them what I wanted them to do. And then COVID happened. So
COVID.
Yeah, I ended up becoming a retail florist and sympathy bouquets and funerals. And it was totally not what I entered the industry with my own business for, but I had to pivot. So as we gained visibility and started to grow, I was making this shift in pricing, right? Over time, like as you become more experienced, you know what you're worth, you charge what you're worth, you're looking at your competitors, you're looking at new people, you're seeing what they charge, you're seeing what they offer. And we had coordinators entering the market offering 6 weeks of coordination for $1,500, and people were eating that up. And I'm just like, well, we're never going to charge that.
Yeah.
Like, I've been doing
That's
this
not
way too
sustainable.
long.
Yeah.
It's not sustainable at all. The client experience is probably awful.
Yeah.
It probably doesn't even exist. Like, it's so transactional at that price. No shade to anyone who's charging that, but it just doesn't work for us.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt like we were getting a lot of those leads where people were looking for this super low entry point to working with us that we just didn't offer.
Yeah.
And at the time, we offered full service and wedding management. We didn't offer anything called day of coordination because I had done the education with, industry pros and trying to tell people to shift from that language because there's no such thing as a real day of coordinator.
Yeah.
And I had a coach at the time who told me, like, I can't leave money on the table. She's like, you can do day of in your sleep. So what if you don't come in at 1,500, but you position yourself maybe slightly higher because of your tenure, because of your experience, keep calling it wedding management, and let's see how that shifts your booking, your conversions.
Mm-hmm.
And what ended up happening, that same business coach she helped me with my pricing and making sure that I was pricing for profit and like can live my life as a planner and an event owner and not have a day job for the rest of my life in addition to that, which I had a day job up until last May, which a lot of people don't know and don't realize. And I don't know how I did it as long as I did, but she helped me to shift pricing so that I didn't need to do that anymore.
Yeah.
And
Congratulations. I know
Thank
that
you.
making that shift is scary, right?
it's still scary.
Yes. Yes. Being a full-time entrepreneur is like,
Yeah. And I left my day job like in the midst of the breakup, in the midst of a move, like it was insane.
Yeah.
But I trusted the process. I trusted myself and the systems I had put in place. So to answer the question, they had to separate because now we have this budget entry point under the styled stem, and our full service clients, the gap was so wide. It was different client psychologies. It was different price points, different depths of service. And one brand was trying to hold two completely different experiences. And it just didn't work anymore.
Yeah.
I just think it's brilliant, and it's smart to recognize that and to have the gall to do that. As people who have multiple brands and different things going on, it's a bear to take on.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's also just kind of even like the industry, like how other people are going to look at you and think about you or talk about you or whatever like that. We all got opinions, but but
Sure do.
But I just think again, like just taking into account everything that you are doing and are dealing with, it's like it's incredible that you've been able to come to that decision and actually pull the trigger, and here you are.
Yeah, thank you. It's been a wild ride.
and it's got a lot more to go. So hold on. Because we're 17 years in ourselves, and it just keeps going, and it's a privilege to be in that space, for us to have that. But but that's also kind of what's really fun about it, like we're always kind of retooling and tinkering,
recalibrating.
Yeah, just like whether it's like client facing or website or there's a million facets to running a business, and then I think the wedding industry is uniquely positioned to kind of add a little bit more in there too.
Yeah, for sure.
It kind of mirrors just like human life. There's just like the constant growing and evolving.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And I think like when you have things like social media and the algorithm,
die algorithm.
You have to continuously evaluate and assess, and people's wants and desires change so quickly.
Yes.
You really have to be like on top of your business. Like, this is what we do. This is what we're great at. Yeah. We're going to stay the course, and we're going to tweak what we need to, but we're not reinventing the wheel just because the algorithm changed.
Yeah. No.
Right. Which the equivalent on like the photo video side is just following every new trend that pops up.
I'm not
Right.
doing
A
that.
constant pivot versus like we're here.
We've been in the game long enough to know that trends do not age well, usually.
Yeah. Or you got to wait like 20, 30 years to come back, but we're not going to be doing this then. So we don't have to worry about it.
My quasi content creator friend, he's a photographer, telling me like, you got to do it. And I'm just like, you don't understand how my brain works.
Yeah.
Doesn't work for me.
Right. Yeah. And like we struggle with that a lot because we really care about the experience and just kind of like being in what we do and enjoying it and having to worry about this layer of social media and pushing yourself and promoting yourself. It's not natural for us. So we do it to an extent, but at the same time, it's like, I think we need to be true to ourselves and just trust that, you know, by doing good work and doing right by our couples and just being all around good human beings is
Right.
enough
Yeah, exactly.
so far. If there's like someone else in the industry that is kind of finding themselves in a similar situation where they have such a wide spectrum of services that they're providing to their couples and it's kind of tearing itself apart, like what advice would you give someone who is considering that, and like, is that always the answer?
That's a great question. I think first and foremost, if you don't know your numbers, don't launch another brand. It's like Bible. You don't track profit clearly. If your first offer, your entry point isn't stable, if you're creatively bored, creative freedom is not a business strategy. It's just a brainstorm session.
Yeah.
So I think like brand clarity comes into play there. Like if you are considering it, you really need to understand not just right now where you are, but where you're headed and what the end goal is. So you have to be forward thinking, and it can't solve just a quick frustration. It has to be strategic, and your audience will appreciate that. So the infrastructure has to be there. So it really comes down to your numbers and where you are headed before you make the decision.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love that.
If you should make the decision.
Right.
Yeah, because I do know that there are, you know, brands that can kind of service a really wide range, especially if you get to like larger teams, right? Like you can accommodate a wider range. But again, as people who have multiple brands, just managing it alone is a lot. Having more than one Instagram is horrible and intense. And then if you know Melissa and I, like we also have personal projects and so like
And I need personal projects for like my own well-being.
Yeah, like the kind of our positioning is like everyone should make art, like regardless
Whatever
of,
that looks, or create.
yeah,
Whatever that looks
yeah,
like.
exactly. That's a better way to put it. Everyone should create, which, you know, could be dancing or drawing or you know,
Anything.
making
Writing,
flower
anything.
bouquets or, you know.
Yeah, just something that's like outside of what you typically are doing for a business. Because I do feel like that adds just more inspiration. It keeps you inspired. It keeps you creative in your creative flow. Yeah.
And it's what's wonderful about it is like it's not about skill. It's not about turning it into something. It's for the joy of doing it and just using your brain in a different way. And I think, like for us, I always joke that my drawing is my therapy, right? So, you know,
My dancing is my therapy.
yeah, and her dancing is her therapy. Yeah, so
It is therapy.
a lot cheaper, you know, but yeah, but I just think it's, you know, I like getting into flow states and just getting lost and just being okay with whatever it ends up being.
Yeah, I think as creatives, as business owners, it's sometimes hard to stay in the lane of creativity because you have to be the operator, because you have to be the sales engine, because you're wearing so many hats. So I'm same philosophy. Like, I'm running again. I listen to music more, and I grew up on music. I was in choir until I graduated high school, and I find myself feeling so connected to myself more because I'm relearning to enjoy the things that I like loved growing up. And I used to sing all the time, and now I sing in my car in the shower and not
As long as you're singing.
As long as I'm singing, it feels great. So I totally agree. The creative expression is so critical to what we do.
Yeah.
I also like want to always like qualify that too with like, it is a privilege to be able to do that and to have space to do it. Right. Like,
Yeah.
It's just like the older I get, the more like, I guess, emotionally in touch I am with human beings I become. I feel like where I'm just like, there's like, everyone has their struggles and there's just like, things are hard no matter who you are. So I think, you know, it is a privilege for us to be able to, number one, have time to be able to create, and to be able to have the mental capacity to do it, you know? So, you know, it took us time to figure out how to get there. And, you know, we're a family of like continual growth and kind of always like doing the inner work, and we're fortunate for that. But you know, it's a privilege to be able to even do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So from the circle back,
Rabbit hole.
let's come up from the
We didn't
depths.
go that deep that time though. We went close, but
I was getting emotional, so I was like, God, this is
cry
not.
on me now.
I'm like,
No, let them cry. Men need to cry.
that'd be two times in 7 days between us.
I know.
But, you know, like from the couple perspective, just like on the brand side of things, because if a couple is looking at a planner and they see that one is doing everything and anything, and then they have one that is like really defined, like what do you think from their perspective? Like, why does it matter whether someone is doing one thing or another?
I think ultimately couples need to feel confident and clear and safe in their investment. So confusion can ultimately erode trust, right? So if you're all over the place, you were just doing this and now you're introducing this and now you're introducing that, but it's not like a cohesive string of things, your client might be like, well, how are they focusing on 8 things and none of them are this?
Yeah.
They're throwing all of their energy and post into that. Like it just comes across as confusion more than anything else. And I think that's really why like brand clarity matters before changes or shifts. I think being very intentional about what you do put out there and when you put it out there. Like you can have 8 to 10 things brewing in the background, but not everyone needs to know that just yet.
Yeah.
Like it needs to be a rhyme or reason to how you roll it out and who it's for. And maybe it's not the same audience as your from a planner as a coordination client or a full service client or a corporate client or like a completely different lane that doesn't need to be public yet. And you build it, you make it sustainable, you make it real behind the scenes, and then you put it out to the public.
I love that. In thinking about success, because I know that like that's kind of shifted for you in the past year or so. What does it look like, or I should say, how has it shifted in the past year or so for you as far as what that looks like?
Yeah. Oof. Well, old success for me was a booked calendar and
Fully booked.
40 plus weddings, and not me doing 40, but the team handling 40 and us having like every weekend in wedding season was booked and we knew when we were off and we felt confident blocking our calendar. That's a fast road to burnout.
Yes.
So for me, I think new success is durability, profit margin that actually makes sense, peace, and really working with aligned clients.
Love it.
Yeah. Which sounds a little less chaotic.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
And what would you say you're protecting most right now? Like margin, creativity, peace, reputation?
Yeah. I think, and this is more on, I guess, on the personal front for me, it's peace. I think when I'm at peace, the team is at peace, the clients feel comfortable, like it just feels good for everyone. So that is always going to be my anchor. Like if something is wrong with Candice, everyone knows it. Like it shows.
Yeah. I love this analogy and I'm probably going to butcher it, but I was in this one yoga class And they said, whatever you pour into your cup, you know, always says like, you know, whatever's in your cup is overflowing. Whatever you pour into your cup, whether it's chaos, whether it's anxiety, whether it's peace or love, whatever you're pouring into it that's overflowing is going to overflow to everyone around you.
Yeah,
So I like that. Filling your cup with peace.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
We like that.
You seem to, for the extent that we know you, you seem to be similar to us in that you are sensitive to energies and can even tell your own when it's off pretty easily and all that. So it's good to be self-aware and to be able to be intentional about that. Because I know like Melissa knows me well enough, I'm a pretty regimented human being, like in a nauseating way, probably. So like if
one thing is off in the morning, I'm just like,
so like if I can't have my coffee and be reading at the same time to start my day, for example, then I struggle, which is, I mean, I'm not perfect, everyone. But
then I have to kind of bring them back to earth. Like, okay, babe.
Yeah, but like, does that matter? I'm like, I know. It's just, it's almost just because like it's like a more in my body experience of every day, and I like a certain flow and
ritual and
you know, So like when I don't have that, but that's where chaos is nice every once in a while, and that's where also for us, even doing something like going out to social things. Whether it's with friends or in the industry, it's really nice because it's like, you know, a wrench in the machine where like, okay, we got to do this. And I'm always grateful for it afterwards. Sometimes getting out the door is really hard. And the whole way there, it's
Why did we come back?
Yeah, like, I feel like everyone probably has that conversation of like, I don't want to do this. And then it's like, the door opens, you see someone you love.
You're like, hey!
and everything's better. And you're like, okay, I'm with my friends now. Yeah. So, and as far as like simplifying, like how has you kind of being able to have this clarity between the brands, and it seems just kind of like on all facets of your businesses, like how has that simplification helped your team?
I think the team really feels like I have more energy and I'm making better decisions for us, not just me. I think they would all say that I'm more present. You know, my daughter's going to be 4, and navigating an infant 3-4 years ago was chaos everywhere.
Yeah.
I had my first wedding after she was born 4 months later, and it was a full service client at the art museum, and I was like on it because I'm going to perform and do what I need to do. But I would say between that, her being born, and the shift last year, there were moments where I didn't feel as much of a leader as I wanted to feel. I was great at planning, great at producing events, but I didn't feel like I was focused on leadership because I was focused on being a mom outside of planning and working with my clients.
Yeah.
So I think they would agree that I'm more present and I'm more articulate about what I'm thinking about and what I'm planning towards and how they fit into that bigger picture.
Yeah, I love that. Speaking of leadership, how has leading Black women in weddings shaped how you think about sustainability and industry impact beyond just like revenue?
Oh,
Also, congratulations.
Thank you. I think it really shifts how I think about what is enough. And you know, you said it exactly right. Like impact isn't just about revenue. It's really about room building and who should be here that isn't, but very well could be.
Yeah.
That's really what I think I'm enjoying the most about it is I'm meeting so many people, and you would think there's not a lot of Black women in weddings when you step into some of the rooms that we're in together. And there's a lot.
Yeah.
And it's exciting. It's really fulfilling. I think for me and my personal journey, I felt a lot of the absence and a lot of the struggle of being one of a few. And sometimes I still have like inner conflict about it. So having this space to connect with other people that are going through the same thing, that are doing great things.
Yeah.
It's it's kind of like a full circle moment for me. It's really rewarding.
I love hearing that.
Yeah.
It feels like soul work.
Yes.
Not just like something you have to do, but something that like truly like fills you from like the inside out. Real quick.
Okay. Sorry.
I would love to hear more about this community. Like, what inspired you to start it? Like, I think I know, but like, I want to hear it from you.
So I have been a member of different professional organizations, and I felt like there was something missing, right? When I would go to events, when I would go to networking events, or I would go to education events, and you have the people that you know and you love, and you turn on a certain way because you're in front of a certain audience. I don't like to say it's performative, but sometimes it is, and mindful of the audience that's around you. And I feel like growing up, I always had this idea in my mind that I live in two worlds. My family is from the Caribbean. And as a Black woman in America, I grew up being bullied by my African American friends because I couldn't relate to their upbringing, because the Caribbean upbringing is different. And I feel like I really walked this fine line between being a Black woman in the industry, being Caribbean. Like, I just felt like I was in so many different places.
Yeah.
And I've kind of really gone down a strong path of making sure my audience and my target client is not one person.
Yeah.
I had met so many Black vendors that only showcase Black clients. And I'm like, well, are those the only clients you want to work with? And they would say no. And I was like, well, do you think if you only show Black clients that more Black clients are going to come to you, or are you going to get white? Like, it was just interesting thought processes that I was hearing. And I'm like, I never would have thought to limit myself.
Right.
So now that I feel like I have a strong footing, and I feel like I have such valuable relationships with people in this industry. Like, we go to war together on some of these events, and
sure do.
we really do. And I never think about what color they are or what nationality. Like, I don't think if we have good energy, we're in the same space. Like, I want to nurture that.
Yeah.
And I want more people to see that. And I want people to feel connected to that and not like an outsider. So that's really what
I love that. I always say, like, energy first, right?
Yeah. People are people.
People are people. But I also just want to point out that there is so much to learn from each other, right? Like, there's so many different cultures, and I find that culture is extremely gorgeous. And like, I want to know as much as I can about other cultures. And I think like that's the mentality that we have to like shift to. Like, it doesn't matter like what skin color you are, like what gender you are, like we're all people and we all have different stories and we can all learn from each other.
Exactly.
Period.
And just to kind of go back to you, just talking about how this all started, Black women in weddings and all that. Like, I think it's also like you're working towards fixing something that's not going well in our wedding industry as it relates to the vendor side in our community. And I think, someone who has been involved in our WIPA chapter since the beginning, a lot of the feedback I got is a lot of people who weren't straight white people didn't feel comfortable. And that's a real problem. And that's, what I think you starting this and being involved in this is amazing and impactful. And I'm sure you have so much further to go as well. But it also kind of aligns a little bit with what we're doing with our Gather community, which is to like, everyone is welcome and we all belong and it's a safe space, because I think social media, feeds into this kind of negative cloud that I feel like we have over. And I'm trying to like be eloquent about this, but like, it just, it can just get hard because at the end of the day, like people want to fit in, people want to be cool, people want to book weddings, people want to be perceived as the best and have the perfect life and play the social media game. But like my philosophy is we're all a mess and we're all human. So like, how about
we already do belong.
So like, let's just be together.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and, and that's what it is. And I think, but for you specifically, just Black women, like, yeah, I don't know as many as you do. But they are out there, but I don't see them because they're not coming to the events that I'm
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead. You go.
No, I was just going to say, I appreciate you bringing up WIPA because I was one of the founding members when the chapter relaunched, and that was kind of my feeling. So I stepped back after I raised my hand to do things and to be on the board, and it just wasn't moving in a direction that felt as inclusive as I was hoping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I rejoined. I'm back. I'm giving them another shot.
Yeah.
Because I want to, hold myself accountable, right? For the mindset and the, attitude towards it. But ultimately, with Black women in weddings, I want it to feel like a community.
Yeah.
Like, I want you to feel like we can have the tough conversations. You don't have to tell me that you're booked and busy. If you're struggling, we need to have an honest conversation about that, because I might have a resource for you, or I might know the person that's excellent at that. They may not look like you or me, but they will help you because they love helping people. And you don't know them yet. So that's the whole goal. So we focus on 4 signature events throughout the year that are focused on community, sustainability in business, and growth.
Yeah. And that's what community actually is. Community isn't just a group of people getting together and everything's all like beautiful and light. And it's like, no, it's like, we're getting together. We're talking about some hard shit. And how can we hold each other through it? Right. It's not always going to feel good, but that's what community is.
It's going to be gorgeous and pretty. And, content driven. It's going to be intentional. And
there's going to be tears.
Well, I think also just feeling safe to be real too, and not feel judged, and to be able to be in a room where what you're saying isn't being recorded, and you have to kind of perform in a certain way. Like you said earlier, it's like just being able to show up and just be and be vulnerable. And I think vulnerability is like the most underrated tool we have as human beings.
Such a gift.
Vulnerability begets vulnerability. And I think, being able to create the container for it is the hardest part.
Right.
And that's something
people to buy into it and believe that it's
and believe you. Because on social media, every community is like, we're family and we love each other. But then behind the door, it's like, that's the hard part about seeing too much behind the scenes for me, is like it affected my mental health. And I'm just struggling because I'm like, words and actions aren't matching. And I just everyone has value. Everyone has something to teach, regardless of any factor at all. You could be considered a luxury photographer, but there could be an entry-level photographer that operates in a certain way, or has a certain frame of reference that could completely change the way you operate your business.
Yeah, exactly.
So I just everyone has something to teach, and I think that's something that we're collectively kind of working towards pulling out and making happen in our respective spaces. And super side note, I would love for Gather to be able to do an event that talks about diversity, or even better yet, showcases it. And if we could coordinate with Black women in weddings. And I'm not there, obviously. Let's look at I don't want to be there. I should not be part of it. But I'll do the emails. I'll make it happen and help make it happen. But just kind of trying to help further along what you guys are doing. So I think I think it's important. It's important.
Yeah. Something that I feel like I've noticed, before COVID, I felt like I noticed that there was this momentum for inclusivity and across the board for LGBTQ. What did you say?
Sorry, that was a controversial mention. But I think the George Floyd incident really kicked that off in 2019. And then COVID hit, and I feel like humanity almost died during it.
Yes. And I feel like there has been something that I feel like I've been missing in just different groups and events is it feels almost like there's no trying anymore to be inclusive. It kind of swung the other way. I don't know if that's true, but that's what I feel. And it's almost it's upsetting.
It's so funny that you bring that up, because I started the Styled STEM in 2019 prior to was George Floyd 2019 or 2020, before COVID or after, during COVID? I think it was
It's during COVID. Yeah. Yep.
I started the business because I felt as though there wasn't enough representation in Philadelphia specifically, and Philly is a
we're pretty diverse. Yeah. Yeah.
So it's like, why can't people find, like, I was getting inquiries where people would say, we only want to work with Black vendors, and we were so excited to see you. And I'm like, there's more of us. Like, I just started my business.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
it was really strange. And then COVID hit, and I felt like more people were reaching out. We want to work with Black vendors. George Floyd happened. We want to only work with Black vendors. We want to uplift our community. And then COVID kept just unraveling and raging on, and people were just trying to survive. And when the world opened back up, and when weddings came back on steroids, because they really did, we went from how many weddings are we going to end up doing this year? One, because everybody's postponing and we don't know what's happening, to we don't know how to even manage the number.
Yeah, don't even take me back.
It's traumatic for a lot of people. But I feel like because of that influx of weddings and like inquiries and leads and bookings, a lot of vendors just gave up on the human piece of it, and they just became operators in their business. Surviving. And it was trickling down to like communication with in between vendors, from vendor to vendor. And as me as the planner, I shouldn't have to wait 6 weeks to hear from you.
Yeah.
If the client's not hearing from you and I'm trying to get you, like, this is a terrible experience for everyone involved. And there was no like ownership of that or accountability. Like, you know what? I'm slammed. I dropped the ball. Yeah. Here's where we are. Like, it seemed like a lot of things just shifted from human and humanity and just like operator transactional.
Although I will say, I feel like that pendulum is starting to swing back. And I think, especially locally, our community, I think, is feeling that, and they are responding, I think, in a good way, which is exciting, you know. But like, but we have, I mean, we don't have a choice. Right? Society crumbling around us. Guys, let's hold hands. But that's the thing too, is it ebbs and flows, and none of us have ever experienced a pandemic experience, and there's just so many things. Like, life is just continuing on, and you have to constantly adjust. And I say this all the time, like, being a human being in this society is really hard, because there's so much to think and worry about, stay on top of. And did you change the oil in the car? Is this insurance?
Which reminds me, I definitely need to get my car sold.
You know, like did you clean out your dryer vents? Right? Like, because if
you don't, your dryer is going to die.
And then you're going to get it fixed 2 times, and it's still going to die, and you got to buy a new one anyway. And then when that one comes, they bring the wrong one that doesn't stack properly, so you have to go and get another one. And it's 2 months without a dryer, potentially thinking. But it's a lot, right? So like, kudos to us who can show up and make it happen and do what we do, because I think it's hard.
Yeah,
you have to really love it. And I think,
yes, you can't be in this business and not love it.
If you do not love people and you don't love the craft that you selected to give to people, you're not going to make it.
You're not going to make it. And it's going to be very noticeable, very noticeable, because your energy doesn't align with that.
So hot take, I feel like there's also a lot of people who do make it, but you can tell by interacting with them and getting to know them that they're struggling in their own ways, right? Like there's you know, and to me, and you mentioned this earlier in our chat about just thinking long term, like, what's the end goal, right? You know, and their end goal doesn't align with the humanity side necessarily, whereas like we want to, and we're very well aligned. It's like, we want to do what we do. We don't want to obsess about the wrong things. We want to be able to just serve people, be creative, live our life, enjoy it along the way, and not get to the end and be like, okay, we have no real friends, but we have all this money and I'm empty. You know, like, you know, so it's just, just wanted to bring that up.
Yeah, that's a great point.
We should cut that. But it's just, I don't know. It's just, I feel like we've definitely, this is such a refreshing conversation.
Such a refreshing conversation.
Because we've had similar conversations, but nothing recorded that's going to be on the internet. but it's important. And I think a lot of people feel similar to us, you know, and I think we are attracting the right people by being honest with who we are and what we think.
Yeah, just being human, like recognizing it, right?
I think a lot of people can relate to this conversation. And I think that the challenge and the shift that I've started to feel is that I can have these conversations with a lot of people, but they don't feel comfortable putting it out there or showing vulnerability and having the honest conversation with a larger audience.
Yep. And that's why we got to lead it.
Yeah, I'm grateful for the space and for being here. This was fun.
Yeah. And so is there anything that you would like to promote or share with our audience? I know I didn't ask you this ahead of time.
Yeah. So right now Black Women in Weddings is going to be hosting our first event for the year on March 28th. It's called Brown Table Talk.
I saw that. Very clever.
Yeah. So I can't take credit for like the names of things. So Lucida Partridge, she's in Atlanta. She started the first chapter and I partnered with her for Philly. So it's an intentional conversation, very small group. We're targeting about 15 to 20 attendees and we're halfway there. So I'm very excited about that.
Get it, ladies.
Yes. And we're going to be having a conversation around sustainability and profit in business. And Melissa from Seven Blooms and Tiffany Chalk are going to be guiding that conversation with me. So I'm
love those queens.
Yeah. Two powerhouses.
So it's March 28th at the Moshaloo from 1 to 4. And tickets are available on the Instagram Eventbrite. And our summer event will be announced at that event. So more to come on that.
That's so exciting.
Awesome. Yeah.
Very excited.
We'll definitely share that for you. Yeah. And were there any questions you had for us?
I don't really have. I feel like anytime I talk to you guys, I just feel so like filled up. Like I feel excited for the rest of my day and for like what's next and just continuing to build the relationship. So
yeah, I think it's just like, honestly, it's a mirror. Like you sharing what you shared with us today, like that lights us up. Yeah. And so we're just reflecting that back to you, right?
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah, this was great. I don't have any questions.
Yeah, Candice, you're killing it in so many ways. And I'm just like so proud of you for like trying stuff, right? Like just trying it and seeing what this community needs and going for it. And making shifts that feel true to you and staying true to who you are.
Yeah, it's been a journey. 16 years.
All while being a single mom.
Yeah, I think that was the shift for me. Like, I've been doing this for over a decade. Like,
right?
You've got something to say. And
yes, you do.
You know, so own that. And that's kind of the driving force behind everything.
You stand in that power.
Thank you guys so much for having me. This was fun. Seriously.
Yeah, we appreciate you. Appreciate your time. And yeah, thanks for being on Talk of the Aisle.
Yeah, this is great. Good luck with everything.
Thank you. I'm going to